Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Liam Keane. Liam, Newcastle 2, Wolves 1. Whoa, where do we start? What did you make of that? I mean, obviously a very disappointing day.
Yeah, really is. We'll come to the VAR. I know you'll ask me about that. We'll come to that separately. But purely on the game, it was a fairly even start. Maybe Newcastle a little bit better of it. That opportunity, which we'll come to, Wolves doesn't go their way. They score very quickly after that. Newcastle, Isak. It's a very good header, but it's too easy for Wolves. Beats Johnny in the air, and Wolves were absolutely hanging on by a thread after that. Chance after chance. Dawson and Kilman both made a couple of big blocks. Isak was running riot. Murphy had a good chance. They should have gone 2-3, 4-0 up at half time. Genuinely, Wolves were all over the shop. Come out the second half, a little, a bit calmer in possession. Look after the ball. Get maybe a little bit lucky to get the goal. Hwang's first touch, a bit of a mistake in defence from Newcastle. You get back into the game at that point and you do not throw it away. 10 minutes later, Wolves give away with such a sloppy defensive error. Aït-Nouri's nowhere to be seen, tracking back. I think Kilman steps out of position. Dawson's pressing out of position in a position that other players can do it, I think Collins and Semedo play Almiron on side as well. It's a nice move from Newcastle, but Wolves should be defending it, really should, and they've thrown away what should be a point.
Rewind it back, 0-0, Raul Jimenez, Nick Pope. A huge moment in this match. Massive moment. I'm still stunned. We've seen replay after replay after replay. Newcastle fans, Newcastle pundits, our pundits, national media, local media.
Alan Shearer
says that they've got away with one.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I've been stood here this season is unprecedented. That Wolves always seem to be on the end of absolute shockers, and I'm sorry, that is an absolute shocker today, a stinker. It's disgusting, and it keeps on happening. And just take me through the incident and what your thoughts are on it, because I'm so frustrated.
So, I mean, it's a mistake from Pope to start with, isn't it? He takes a heavy touch. Jimenez does very well.
Shocker mistake.
Yeah. Jimenez does very well to anticipate it, put him under pressure, nick the ball off him, and he is about to run through on goal. I mean, let's not dress up any more than that. He's about to go through, have a tap in, put Wolves 1-0 up, and Nick Pope leans in, catches him, tries to step out the way, but he goes in first. He comes in, makes contact with him. Some people are suggesting Jimenez is initiate the contact. Not for me, not at all. I think Jimenez is about to race through on goal, and he gets clipped on his back from behind. It's a stonewall penalty. It's a red card because it won't be an intentional play for the ball. So by the letter of the law, it's a red card, and it's a penalty. They're down to 10. They lose a goalkeeper who's a very good goalkeeper, made some good saves in this game as well, and Wolves go 1-0 up away from home. That is a massive game-changing decision. Now, I'm not going to. It feels like it's always Wolves. It's always happening because of the disgraceful mistakes we've had this season. I'm not going to stand here and pretend that it doesn't happen to other clubs, because it does. Unfortunately, it's a result of the awful standard of refereeing in this country. I've said it time and again. We had it at Liverpool VAR. There's so many different opportunities we can explain. The refereeing standard in this country is absolutely dreadful. Simple as. And VAR, I don't understand why it doesn't get involved. Had he given the penalty, it doesn't overturn
100%.
it. He doesn't give it, they don't overturn it. What's the point in VAR? What is the point in it actually being there? And one more point. The application of the technology in the stadium was shocking. We were sat there like we don't
no
even
one
know.
even knew.
We don't
there was a check. There wasn't even say VAR check.
There was nothing on the screen. We got with no indication to anyone in the stadium that they were checking it. The only indication we had was Andrew Madley, the referee, doing this and like pointing from a goal kick. Everyone on TV saying, I think VAR's looked at it, but no.
Neves was still down on this area. Then they were showing replays of that. End of the day,
shocker.
Andy Madley. The two incidents there. One Dan Burn should have been booked. That's a disgusting tackle on Neves, by the way. Andy Madley is absolutely 100%. Whatever you say about VAR, before that's happened, he's bottled that decision. And I tell you what, he's seen it. He's gone, don't fancy making a decision here, to be honest. He's looked at Nick Pope, he goes, oh, he's had a red card already. That means he's going to have a second red card. That means he's going to miss 3 or 4 games. You can see it all going on in his head. I tell you what, I'll let VAR make that decision. And VAR have gone, oh, I don't really know. I think we'll just leave it to the referee. It's an absolute joke. And the thing is, Liam, all the results that went through for Wolves last weekend, they haven't this weekend. The gap is so small. And these decisions, and I know you say that, I'm not going to look at past decisions. Every single one of them is going against Wolves. You can say say about different clubs, but they're going to have things that have really worked in their favour. Wolves haven't, and this is okay. So the players will be okay, but the fans who come here, this is Premier League and Championship survival. I tell you what, it'll be the club, it'll be redundancies in the club and stuff like that. When you go down, these are people going to lose their jobs, and they're going to lose them because of these idiots on the pitch. That's the frustrating thing, and it's got to change because it's a horrible system. And to be honest, people are falling out of love with the game. They're falling out of love with the game because that is an absolute shit show on the pitch.
Yeah, I couldn't have summed it up any better than that, to be honest. I'll take you back to the decision in the Carabao Cup quarter-final away at Nottingham Forest. Wolves felt that Nunez was fouled. It should have been a penalty late on. Would have given the Wolves a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
Neves, I have a one-on-one interview with Neves after the game, and he is absolutely livid. It was an incredible interview, and he really went in hard as to why referees are not stood here having the interview with you. Why do I have to do it? Why the referees? Look, it's a difficult job. I'm not going to pretend that it's not a hard job. And people, I know fans will throw out words like corruption and it's going against Wolves and things like that. I don't think that's the case. As an objective journalist looking at this now, these are weak individuals who are not good enough to referee at the top level, and that is across the board. How many? Look at the people who retired last season and are now looking, overseeing VAR. I mean,
it's embarrassing.
It's so poor. Then, unfortunately, the individuals are not good enough to referee in the Premier League, and that's the problem that these clubs have.
But the fact is, they're getting paid massive salaries. These are paid professionals now. This is an elite program. If we're professionals, if we make a mistake, we're up in front of our editor, we're in front of the chief executive, we're in front of you guys, and we've got to explain it. We've got to say sorry. Yeah. So why can't they?
Well, they should.
Why can't they?
100% they should. And I'll come back to this. I'm trying to be balanced as best I can. I have sympathy that it's a difficult job, especially in the moment. But that's why VAR's there. Yeah. It's there to make the right decision, and it doesn't get involved.
Yeah.
I personally,
2 more wrong decisions.
I know.
One of the decisions has not been given, and then VAR haven't overturned it. It's unbelievable.
I personally, even regardless of today, I would get rid of VAR tomorrow. I don't
100%.
like it, hate it. I would rather have human error, and we can stand here and moan about Andy Madley's decisions and say he needs to be better, etc., etc. But if we've got the technology, it's a fact here, and it doesn't get involved. No. It does not make any sense. No. And the fact that it was so quick, the check was over. The only reason the game didn't restart almost instantly is because Neves was down injured. Yeah. The communication was poor at the stadium. The whole thing stunk, frankly. And unfortunately, Wolves have paid the price for it. Now, yes, all of that goes against Wolves, but you still cannot get yourself in a position where you're 1-1 and throw the game away. So let's also be fair to Newcastle, who are a good team, have done very well this season. We're probably worthy of the 3 points on the balance of the whole game, if we're going to be completely honest. But Wolves, in the position they got themselves in at 1-1, cannot throw that away, and they did.
Exactly, especially when Nathan Collins comes on the pitch. They shore it up at the back, they go 5 at the back, and you talk about the Isak goal, and the defending was really poor on that goal. Yeah. But goodness me, when you've seen the replay, like you say, when Hwang gets in, he's a bit lucky. His first touch on the pitch, they made a triple sub. First touch, happy days. First Premier League goal this season. They're back in it. The fans are absolutely buzzing. You cannot, like you say, cannot lose it from there. If you're going to go defensive, which by the way was Wolves' best period of the match at that time, they were on top of that game. Change the dynamic of it, and then lose that game. And again, it's 2 or 3 bad errors.
Yeah, exactly. I have to question Lopetegui's decision to bring Collins on at the time he did. Collins was excellent when he came on in the second half against Spurs, so it's nothing against him personally. But at that point in the game, as you rightly say, Wolves were ahead. We won one, but ahead in terms of the momentum of the game. Wolves were in a good place. I felt like they were the most likely team to win it. Whether they would have found that goal or not, I don't know. But they were certainly in a good position. They could have saw that game out, and I felt like they invited too much pressure on themselves. They gave the ball away so needlessly. A player like Lamina, for example, who's been brilliant since he arrived at Wolves, lost count the amount of times he lost the ball today or gave it away with really simple passes. And when you've got those kind of individuals not on their game, it makes the job so much harder for the team. And Wolves, despite the whole controversy with VAR, were not good enough to win this game today. That's a fact.
Well, Newcastle were the better side. I completely agree.
Absolutely.
Completely agree.
Newcastle were the better side. Deserved the 3 points, if I'm being completely honest. But the position Wolves are in, you cannot throw that away. And that's Wolves' own fault, not theirs.
No, I completely agree. But then you always... It's a completely different game, isn't it? A completely different game.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, like you say, if this was a balance and that didn't happen, Newcastle were the better side today. And they've got to look at themselves because, look, they've got to show a bit of bottle, and they have done when they needed to this season. 2 massive games coming up with Leeds United at home, Nottingham Forest away. The gap has closed. If Wolves can, look, Wolves are still 13th tonight, by the way. If Wolves can win those next 2 games, if they can even get 4 points from those next 2 games, they should be fine. I still think they'll be more than fine. The fans that I've spoken to afterwards think they'll be fine, but they've got to show a bit of grit, a bit of determination, and take a bit more responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the way the season's going to go. Let's not forget this. It's going to go a high, win at Spurs, a low, lose here. It's going to be like this till the end of May. Let's not pretend that Wolves are going to. Let's say they win the next 2 games. Let's not pretend they're going to roll off into the sunset. It'd be great if they did, but it's going to be ups and downs. And if they can stay steady enough and balanced enough to get through, which I think they will, then they will survive and build for next season. But you've got to stick with them now in the lows, and that is tonight and up until the next game against Leeds.
Newcastle 2, Wolves 1. For all the post-match reaction, make sure you log on to expressandStar.com.